Hello, YouTube. So we're going to get into talking about the Clash at Bowman Gray while we were about it. So the race really wasn't the best. The track was wet. It was short track bumping and all that stuff. Honestly, I think they should get back to racing at Daytona. Just bring the Clash back to Daytona. It'll be so much more entertaining. We're gonna skip all this intro stuff and never mind. Just get into the racing. But you're just gonna see so much crashing here, and it's not the best racing. I was obviously wrong with my prediction about the race winner, but that's fine. But yeah, it's just sit back, watch these highlights, and I'll just bring what I thought about the race as we go along. Yeah, this is all it's going to be all night. It's just straight cautions. This Man, they should like once all that snow started coming in, they should just move the race back to Daytona. Yeah, it would have been the better option, been more like traditional, more classic about it. Here go the ads. But yeah, anyways, if they would have just ran it at Daytona, they wouldn't have had to deal with the weather, the snow, just the in general, and they wouldn't have had to deal with pushing the race back a week to give them, and they'd have just already been in Daytona and ready to go for the Daytona 500. They wouldn't have had to travel back home for a week and then get prepared and go down to Winston Salem. They could just spend that time there preparing for Daytona and just being ready instead of just wasting time essentially. Kyle Larson's a great driver, dude. I was rooting for him a little while, but Chase Elliott's my boy. Just more slipping and flipping. I mean, I love short track racing. Don't get me wrong, but in the rain, and well, after snow's melting and all, see, like all that snow is just melting down onto the track, and That's what's really caused a lot of those wrecks. You see it all down through those little wet spots on the track, and running on slick tires, dude. It's not to say it's out of their control, but it is way harder to control. Than in what F1 would run on a wet track. Yeah, that's that inside line. It's good on of these tracks, but it looks to be a flat track. So it's the outside line to get you some running room a little bit at least. Looks like Briscoe was taking that up. Yeah, I had rugby practice yesterday. I wasn't watching it, but I was keeping up with it on the NASCAR app and all that. Yeah, teammates rubbing and racing, dude. I mean, love short track racing. This is with Bristol. Once we react to Bristol, y'all see like some really good short track race in Martinsville. So we'll get into that during the season. Yeah, 2 weeks to Daytona. So my next video, we're gonna really dive in deep into the my predictions for the NASCAR season, and we'll another spinner. But yeah, we'll do a little rundown on the 500, who I think is going to win, who I think is going to perform well, do I think there's going to be any upsets. Um, but yeah, I can't wait for the 500. It's been agging me on all year, and what it's making it even bigger is this new playoff format, chase format, that will make everything just more like racing again instead of trying to be like a stick and ball sport or something. That'd be 4 safety points on iRacing, dude. Like they need to do something about that. keep it. But rubbing on iRacing like that, you get some safety points. Or somebody will not be able to take it, spin out, and boom. I love it, dude. Like I just love that rubbing. Yeah, they should have been running the treaded tires this whole race. Like, yeah. But this is, I thought this was pretty cool that they let them run with the sleet going on. Like, this is new. Yeah, they're gonna run them tires, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, I honestly think they should have ran that from the start. It would have alleviated a lot of the spinning. But there were still a lot of cautions at the end, so we'll see how those happen. He gonna hit SVG. That boy Daniel Suarez got mad. I didn't see that. Oh my god. Now, if y'all have never seen this video, so a couple of years ago, there's this video. NASCAR runs the weekly series here with the late model stocks and the open wheel modifiers, just really any car that will turn left on the track. But there's this video of one of the races, and dude got wrecked out. God, just playing ballerinas right there. That Coca-Cola 60 car looks so sexy, dude. But man, but yeah. Anyways, there was a wreck. Dude went through the infield right through there and smacked the other car that wrecked him mid race, dude. Like it's crazy. But I will do a video or react to some crazy motorsports wrecks one day, and I'm sure that will be in there. 200 laps here just must feel monotonous, dude. Like such a small track. Like, I think this is the smallest track NASCAR runs on. I mean, it don't count for points or anything, but it's a preseason race, so it's just just for show essentially. Boy, Priest running through them things out there, man. Let the Mustangs through. Whoosh. Gosh, still spinning with the damn regular tires. Well, with the treaded tires. Yeah, they're definitely going to be running smaster and up high, especially with the treaded tires. Chase just been had just he just had a rough night. It's crazy. Old Gibbs got out of that. He just screwed Chase Elliott over. Yeah, everybody's getting like, man, Connor Zilish is one of those guys. Uh, he's not up front right now, but he's one of those guys I think is going to do really well this season. Uh, Carson Hocevar too. That's who I was thinking of, but said Connor Zilish. But he is one of those guys that I think is going to do good. But yeah, Connor Zilish, Carson Hocevar, I think those guys are going to be like the future guys in the sport. They Hocevar reminds a lot of people of Dale Earnhardt. Is just aggressive nature, dude, and that's something cool to bring back to the sport. SVG, he's definitely been improving on ovals. It's great to see that. Yeah, that look at 88, dude. That Connor Zilic car is so nice. Trackhouse balled out. I really wish they'd ran the Red Bull, but them Trackhouse cars look pretty nice. Ain't even gonna lie. But that Ryan Priest man Mustang is so nice. He's just pulling away. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna spoil anything for anybody. Y'all don't know who won this, and this y'all's first time watching. Well, the race. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah. I will say I was wrong about the winner, Chase Elliott. Yeah, he did. We'll see it here coming up soon. There's another Spinums, but damn, yeah. Yeah, Hocevar might be out. Well, not out, but not going to participate. Well, compete real well. But Chase Elliott ran out of fuel here in a little while, and we'll get into that here in a minute. We'll talk about that. But it's really just because of the cautions, and there's no pit road, so you can't. It's kind of hard to get fuel. So I feel like they tried to, guess how much fuel to put in before the race and all that stuff. So whenever Chase Elliott and all the other guys started to yeah, Kyle Larson ran out of fuel too. I didn't know that. I just know Chase Elliott did. I was keeping up with him. That was, when I got out of practice, that's when I was kind of surprised the race was still going on. Saw Chase Elliott, it was a lap down. I was like, man, what happened? Ran out of fuel. And they let everybody, go in and get some fuel because, like I said, they were trying to assume there's no pit row really. So you really had to they tried to, before the race, assume how much fuel was needed for the race. Think that's kind of like why they allowed them to go back in and fill up mid race, especially with like 40, 40, 50 laps to go. What a move! Yeah, there you go. Chase Elliott stalled. Yeah, that's crazy. I was kind of really hoping he would win. He wasn't really running well all night. He just got into a lot of bad luck. Just wrecked into, hit around, ran out of fuel. But yeah, both Trackhouse cars spinning out, man. Yeah, this is where they let them all go in and fuel up. This caused a lot of, yeah, it's kind of crazy to happen, but it is what it is. Yeah, they're always gonna beef Connor, well, Carson and Bubba. They've been beefing for years. So that's gonna probably something we continue to see throughout the season. Just they are running away with it. Usually in a regular NASCAR race, the and this is kind of why I feel like it screwed them over because usually in a NASCAR race, the caution laps would count as part of the race, not in the clash. And there's also stages in the NASCAR race that allow them to go get fuel and all that stuff, uh, and all that. And with it being laps counted under caution, those laps have already been thrown out there, and the race would have been over a long time ago. So yeah, that's kind of like I feel like why the fuel situation happened. And yeah, Ryan Priest took this race away, just ran with it, dude. At the end, beautiful car, beautiful Mustang, great performance by him. Um, yeah, it's cool to see him win. He's been struggling a lot in NASCAR. I mean, granted, it's not a points race. He had a sick burnout too, but granted, it not being a points race, this means a lot to him. Something great to see. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's great to see him get a win. And my overall thoughts about this is move it back to Daytona. It's what most people want to see. NASCAR's really been listening to the fans, so I feel like that's what we're going to see next year. So hopefully that's what happens. And I appreciate y'all from staying along with this longer video where we go over the highlights and stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely get back into it. My next video, we're going to look at older NASCAR races, just some history and some cool stuff that I discovered about NASCAR in the earlier days. So we're just gonna look at some NASCAR races, highlights and stuff, just talk about it. And then after that, we're going to deep dive into the NASCAR series in Daytona 500, and appreciate it. And then as F1 kicks up, we'll get into F1. Definitely after the Super Bowl, we're going to talk about Cadillac and what they're going to do with their livery, and just dive deeper into F1 as F1 and IndyCar rolls around. And I appreciate y'all for sticking around, and I'll see y'all next time.